I wanted to talk my favorite topic, Jack Leiter, with you. You mentioned the Royal series. I think he gave up two or three of those seven. And I said something to Dan offhand the other day of just it almost feels like I'm getting reacclimated with the things about baseball that frustrate me because I took like 6 or 7 years off from regularly watching games. And now I just remember, like, oh, God, this bothers me. And if you look at Jack Leiter's splits, obviously everybody gets worse as the innings progress and as times through the order progress. But you know stats like that are based on 100, right, Dan? Ops plus, weighted runs created plus, any plus. 100 is average, right? So everybody averages 100 at every inning. So this is weighted by inning. So if you're 100, giving up 100 in like the third inning, that's different than 100 in the first inning because it's weighted to the average across everyone in that inning.
Okay.
So
I didn't know that.
I say that to tell you that in the first inning, he's 30% better than everybody. So a 70. In the second inning, he's 51% better than everybody, a 49. So better. In the third inning, he's a negative 13. So 113% better. He's one of the best pitchers in baseball this year through the first three innings. The fourth inning is a 161, which means 61% worse than average, 165, 123 in the godforsaken chance he makes it to the seventh, 239. Like, it's an insanely dramatic split. And I'm using those plus numbers to show you, like, it's not just he has a good ERA early and a bad one late. Relative to how everybody is as they progress through a game, he's been nails his first time to two times through the order compared to everyone, and dog shit if he has to see the lineup a third time. And it's very, very frustrating to watch because he's good enough to when he is getting outs, I'm like, this is, first of all, it's moving very quickly.
And this is what Tampa revolutionized, right?
Yes.
Let's get that guy out right away.
Yes, and he's throwing fastballs.
But he has a no-hitter. Doesn't matter. Get him out.
And seriously, that seems to feel like what happens, and then it's just, all right, well, here's a guy who's going to 3-4 hits in a row. It's a 5-1 game. He's out of the game, and now his day looks terrible.
That seems like a more accurate way, actually, to police, instead of just pure pitch count, because sometimes that feels like it can be an arbitrary number.
Sure.
But if you actually said third time through the lineup, that's what we judge it on. Like, we're going to get you out as soon as you start to get in any hot water. And maybe a lot of teams already do that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just thought it was interesting, Jared, because I go look at all of his numbers, his expected numbers, and what happened it's a maddening profile. But he's young, but he ain't that young.
Well, he is and he isn't, Jake. So I'll in age wise, like just based on age, you're right. You're right. He's young, but he's not that young. But let's go to Chris Bubich, who the Rangers faced with the Royals. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. He's likely going to be an all-star. He was a first-round pick in the teens, I want to say. First-round pick of the Royals out of Stanford. And he has pitched parts, at least, of every season since 2020. So he's gotten quite a bit of major league experience. And this is his first year of, like, actually being a good starting pitcher. Last year was his first, like, good year, but it was a reliever. He came from a Division I program. He spent 3 years in college. Right? Jack Leiter didn't. Jack Leiter effectively spent 1 year in college because he lost the COVID year and he was a draft eligible sophomore, which is rare. There aren't many draft eligible sophomores. Typically, if you go to Division I school, you've got to be there for at least 3 years. Redshirt sophomore or junior year, that's when you're eligible. He was a draft eligible sophomore. So, he doesn't fit the same timeline profile as your typical Division I first round draft picks. Now, you add in the fact that everyone develops differently, different timelines, that comes into play too. But you're not wrong in that, like, he's not 22 years old. There are people who hear what you say there, Jake, and they're like, oh, is he best as a reliever? I think it's too early to punt on him as a starter because he's got like a starter's repertoire. He's got 5 pitches that he can throw. I would like to see him throw the curveball a little bit more maybe. But am I able to screen share? Because I want to show you guys something that, like, really jumps out to me that I think would make a huge difference. you're talking about like the struggles as he gets deeper into games. I think for a lot of pitchers, you can chalk that up to repertoire. They don't have the depth in their repertoire to fool guys a second or especially a third time. I don't think that's the case with Jack. I just think that with Jack, he has such trouble putting guys away with 2 strikes. He ends up throwing more pitches per inning than the average pitcher by quite a bit. And so hitters see him, right? Like in the first inning against the Reds, uh, in his last start, or Pittsburgh, excuse me, he threw 20 pitches and he threw 19 to the first 3 batters. And so they're all seeing him, full. I think he had like 4 full counts of the first 6 batters he faced. And so the premise, the reason why guys tend to get worse when they face a lineup a second or third time is because those hitters now are seeing more and more of them. They're more accustomed. They know what the pitches look like. They can get a better read. Well, that also plays when you throw more pitches. And so am I able to screen share? Okay, am I able to show my screen or not? Okay. Can you guys see this little heat map?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What you're seeing right here is the heat map of where Jack Leiter throws his sliders with 2 strikes. It is, as you can see, there's a left-handed and a right-handed hitter. So it's to both sides combined. It doesn't make sense. For the purpose of this, I don't need to isolate righties, lefties. What you guys see, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but you see the hottest portion of the heat map, glove side. So inside to a lefty, away from a righty, right? It looks like he's throwing that pitch just off the plate, right at the knees. You guys follow that?
Mm-hmm.
That hot portion, instead of being there, needs to be over the plate but below the zone, because Jack's slider is not a sweeping slider that's got a lot of horizontal movement. It's actually kind of below average league wide in terms of its horizontal movement. Where that pitch is nasty is its vertical drop. It some people might look at it and say, oh, it moves like a curveball. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess to the degree that, if you want to just say all curveballs are more vertical, all sliders are more horizontal, sure. That's his slider, and the velocity is kind of what separates it. But it does have more of a vertical drop to it. So it's a lot easier for hitters to lay off the pitch where he's throwing it right now, because they see it on the edge. They're looking for it. They see it. Even if they pick up slider, if it's more vertical, it's a lot tougher for them to read if it's going to come in at the knees or below. It's a lot more enticing of a pitch. They know that that's the pitch that he's going to throw, that's got, that he likes to go to with 2 strikes. But if they see it on the outside corner, if they see it off the plate, no reason for them to swing, because they know that pitch isn't coming back into the zone, right? So one of the things they've been working on with him that he's trying to figure out how to do more consistently is to throw that pitch over the plate but below the zone. So when Jack starts against the Mariners, presumably his next start, you guys want to play along, look at that. When he gets to 2 strikes, is he throwing that pitch over the plate but below the zone? Because he'll get more swings and misses there. And now all of a sudden, the 2.5 pitches per batter faced once he gets to 2 strikes, which is at the bottom or near the bottom of Major League Baseball, depending on the parameters, will start to improve. And I think that will allow him to go deeper into games because of pitch count. But I also think it will allow him to go deeper into games because I think he'll be more effective once he gets, second, third time through a lineup. Because now when Brian Reynolds is facing him for the third time, he's not going to have already seen 18 pitches, right? He's going to maybe have hopefully seen just 8, and maybe hasn't seen the kick change, right? It's a domino effect. And I just think that's one fix. It's not the only fix for Jack, but that's one big fix that I think will help him as he continues to grow in his first full year.